right, so welcome to another episode of the podcast. I'm here with my soon-to-be wife, Gladicia. I'm glad you're here. So we have a lot to talk about, and we've been wanting to do this and just kind of keep it more casual for a while. I wish I could make a podcast every day. If I could, I would. But being able to do podcasts with you, it's like it's hard to book a guest every single time. And that's just like the model that the podcast organically turned into. But if I can do one with you, I can do one with you anytime. And you and I talk for hours and hours and hours every day. You know what I mean?
A lot.
We talk a lot. So it only makes sense to just casually have you on every single time. So you're my first recurring guest. So thank you. I appreciate that. So we have a lot to talk about. One thing that I want to get off my chest and just kind of get it over with. We actually have a topic. It's something it's difficult for me to talk about publicly because I don't know how many people can relate to where I'm coming from. But I recently took a DNA test with Ancestry.com, and my results came in about 2 weeks ago, and I've still been wrestling with the results, and they didn't come out the way I wanted them to. And so I'm looking at them right now, and I'm 45% Native American, which is pretty neat. But I was really hoping for 51%.
Or just a little more.
Yeah. So it doesn't tell you from which side of the family is what. Maybe 23andMe or something gives you more details, but so I'm 47 to 48% white, Spanish, Italian, French, Portuguese, and 3% African, which we all have a little bit of African in us after all, since we came from that continent before Pangea and all that. But so I don't, necessarily, it's difficult for me to quote unquote identify as someone who's mixed. Because that's a big time mixed bag. Like it's not 50% one thing, 50% another thing. And I'm wrestling with it, and I for me it's just like I don't even want to associate with an ethnicity anymore, to be honest.
No.
Does
it affect how you feel about Fiona?
No. Why? Why would it?
Don't. Like,
I mean, I didn't look at her as like, she's my little Mexican baby ever to begin with. I don't look at them that way, the kids.
I kind of did with Fiona. But I mean, I wasn't sure. And I don't see her differently. It's just, I guess now it's like she's more so like you than she is me, is the only difference.
Why? Because of the color of her skin, her complexion?
No,
what?
Like, I guess like she's probably only, I would say like 60%.
That's pretty good.
Which is a lot, yeah.
That's a lot. That's great. That's more than me. Like, that's good. That's good. People, I hope this goes without saying, but, being Native American is, I'd imagine, rare.
I think so. I feel like it might be. And then with my results, I was surprised that I'm more Native American than my mom.
Which means your dad's pretty Native American.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. So you're more American than most white people that live in America. Think about that. You were here totally first. You know what I mean? Like your DNA or whatever. So I think that's incredible. And obviously, when I look at you, it's so fucking obvious. Like it goes without saying. And you look at me, like I've told a few close friends and family, like, yeah, turns out I'm white. They're like, yeah, I kind of could see that. I could have told you that. And it's like, damn, like I fought that my entire life growing up in the Valley. I was like, I'm not white, I'm Mexican, but I am white. And it goes to show, like, it's kind of hard to claim white privilege when most people, like Barack Obama doesn't say he's white. He identifies as black. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm sure Mariah Carey identifies as black, Halle Berry, Alicia Keys, all these mixed, mulatto, which I think is racist now, but all these mixed people, like, they don't claim white even though they are. They are. Like Drake, there's like an ongoing joke I keep saying is, who's whiter, me or Drake? But Drake identifies as black, I don't necessarily want to identify as white because I don't know shit about Italy. Spain, Portugal, France. Like, I don't really know anything about it.
So you're not going to identify as white?
It's just easier for me to say that my DNA and my genes is just trash. I'm trash. You probably didn't think I was going to say that, did you?
No,
because I've said it in private for quite some time. But I just feel like you look in the dumpster, you see plastic, you see cans, you see cardboard, you see paper towels, you see food, and that's my DNA. Is a bunch of shit, and I'm supposed to identify as one thing. Like how? If people nowadays, there's a spectrum. If gender's a spectrum, like why can't, I'm not saying ethnicity be a spectrum, but it's just, I'm such a mixed bag that, I mean, I don't want to say I'm my own thing, but you
can't identify with all of them at the same time. I mean, do you think your mom is this mix?
I don't know. Because my mom's side of the family is very light complected, and I don't mean to put such a magnifying glass on this. For most people, it's probably just data to them, but for me, like, I was bullied quite a bit as a kid from dark people for not being dark. Right. And so I was like, but in the inside, I'm dark, was what I thought. Like, why are you picking on me? We're all the same. I've told Claire privately, like, I identify as a being of light. Like, you take me apart. Like, my soul is my light, and we all have that. We're all that. And then society puts all these extra fucking layers on it. And I don't necessarily have pride in any of that. You know, there's people that'll tell you, doesn't matter, you're American. You know, and it's like, I don't see it that way. Like, that's all political. Like, to me, I'm just a mixed bag, man. Like, and it's fine. Like, I fought it for a very long time. I wanted to be something else. It didn't really work out that way, but just a mixed bag. You know, I feel like I'm just a trash person.
But you do realize that there are, if you know Mexico's history, there are a lot of mixed people.
Yeah, no, I know that.
At least
I think they're in denial about that, especially the dark ones. They don't look at things that way. But that's the way it is. So like my mother, like I think she identifies as like that Mexican side a lot more, but that's because of the Spanish language. But then Mexico didn't create that language either.
Right.
It was Spain. So there's just a lot of things, a lot of complexities that go into it. And, you know, God knows how much rape went down for all these different, you know, for this intercontinental mixed race of people, for, you know, God knows like how it went down, you know. So, and of course everybody knows, you know, how the Native Americans just got fucking massacred, you know. And I don't care how people want to spin that. Like, I don't care. It's in our DNA. And it makes sense why I feel very conflicted, and why I feel like I have like 9 different souls swimming in me sometimes. I'm like, I feel fucking bipolar sometimes. And so the DNA reflects that. The data reflects that. And that makes sense. So it's good to know. I rather know than have never known.
So you're glad you took the test?
I'm dispassionate about it. Like I'm glad that I have the information, but it's not the results that I wanted, but I can take it. I got to accept the facts.
Right.
It's not the information that I wanted. Is there anything else you want to talk about when it comes to that?
No, I guess not. I mean,
so I'm looking at my results right now, and it's whatever. It's whatever, you know. I think all these different borders and nationalities and ethnicities are just, it's just layers that divide us and separate us. And I feel like there's that episode of South Park where Cartman hates gingers, and then his friends paint him as a ginger, like paint him white, freckles with red hair. And then he wakes up and he's like, no, guys, like gingers are disenfranchised and we got to group together. And like he completely 180s. And I kind of feel like that. I'm like, fuck, like I'm white. It's that, but I don't think I don't think I have a white person's brain. Like I don't. Like how most people, I have a few white friends that they wake up white, they go to sleep white, they think white things, you know, they drink kombucha or whatever they do, and I don't think like in those terms. I still think like a fucking Mexican. That on the borderland culture, like I still think that way, still have that psychology, and so it just confuses me even more. Like I can't just be like, I can't just like think white now. Like I just can't. I don't look at things like that, you know? I have empathy for all humans, so, like, it doesn't change. Like, nothing really changes.
Right.
And if you're out there and you think you know where you come from, you owe it to yourself to prove it and get results anyways. Like, if you think you know, well, then confirm what you already know. But something tells me you might be surprised. I certainly was. So I wanted to talk about that just because I'm so conflicted about it, and I'm pretty sure people can take whatever I'm saying and spin it in a different context and make it racist. Oh, you're saying that this whole group of people is trash, and I'm like, no. You can call it a melting pot. You can call it a big pot of stew, and there's different ingredients in it. And sure, whatever metaphor you want to use, I say trash because I'm like, it's so random, and I didn't choose it and I didn't ask for it. And I'm grateful that 45% of me I identify as that. Like, I always did. And it's nice to have a chunk. It's nice to be half of something. And then my other half is just so complex. But I suppose it's all Latin American after all. But yeah, so I did want to talk about that. This is a rough transition, but right now Aiden is in his room being punished. He's grounded. Mm-hmm. He did it to himself. He got detention Friday. Or was it Thursday?
Thursday, and then he had tutoring Friday.
And then tutoring all next week.
All next week.
And so he kind of did it to himself, and we got a call from his teacher, and he's failing 2 grades, I think, as of right now.
I think like 3.
3. So obviously he's a direct reflection of us, and so we can't cut him slack. We grounded him. The day Endgame came out. So me, you, and Fiona watched it. And he didn't. He stayed at home by himself. Mm-hmm. No devices, no television. I mean, he felt a way about it, but dude, trust me, like, this is as close as I'll ever get to child abuse. But it had to be done. So it's unfortunate. It didn't feel the same, like watching such a childhood kid-like PG-13 movie without him. It didn't feel the same. I wish he was there, but we saw it without him, and I had a great time.
Me too.
It was really cool. And I will say, I want to hear what you thought about it, or like any theories, because like spoilers for that movie, I guess, because if you haven't seen it, sorry, we're going to ruin it. And hopefully, this is your moment. Get back to us and finish this podcast when you want to come back. So you've been warned, but I'm about to spoil Endgame now. There's a lot of time travel shit that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense. Time travel is not real, so how can it make sense? But like, at least even though in Back to the Future, which I don't like those movies.
I don't either.
I've never really got into them, but at least their BS sci-fi has rules and it makes sense. Terminator is BS sci-fi, but at least they commit to it and it makes sense. This one doesn't really make sense, and I saw it twice that night. And like I said, I want to get into what you thought about it, but I had 2 different experiences the second time and then the first time.
Really? Why?
Yeah. The second time,
were you able to put things together?
It in a way, like, it made more sense the first time. The second time, I was even more confused because I was like, this doesn't make any sense here. And there's going to be tons of podcasts to talk about this. Last night, I stayed up for a little bit, and I was trying to. I wrote on YouTube. I was like, Avengers Time Travel Explained. And 3 videos that were like the top results. I saw each of them, and basically there were joke videos of people being like, I don't get it. And I was like, oh my God, I'm even more confused now.
Yeah. So I felt a little confused when I left, but I was like, okay, maybe I just need to think about it some more, and then it'll come around. It'll make sense.
Yeah.
But I'm still thinking about it, and I want to watch it again.
I think we should watch it again, and hopefully, I mean, I don't mind seeing it without Aiden again, but if he wants to watch it with us, hopefully he gets his grades up and all that. But God, it made a shitload of money looking at IMDb right now. But $1.2 billion globally. How fast will it get to 2 billion? How fast would it get to 3? That's pretty cool. It deserves it. The second time, I was like, whoa, this is really dark. A lot of people said that about Infinity War. This is too dark for me. They're like, oh, these are supposed to be family movies. And for me, I think I like Infinity War more. I think I do.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. This one was just really sad.
It's
like,
super
sad. I still
sad.
think about, I just earlier, like we were watching Infinity War.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't even watch this one because I'm still sad about what happens.
I know. It is sad, but it's also really dark. And I will say, like, I hate to be this nerd. I might be the first nerd that I've seen on the internet that goes here. But this was the most Zack Snyder-y Marvel movie.
Oh, I don't know.
It was, in terms of it's really dark, it's very violent, and it takes itself very seriously. And then here's, like, it's very long. Like, people did not like the Zack Snyder Batman, Superman stuff because of that. And this is the most like that. And so it's just interesting to me. Like, don't get me wrong. Watching it the second time, I was like, Robert Downey Jr.'s acting is amazing. He's an amazing actor. He's the best. He's the best actor in that whole ensemble. He's the best actor. You could tell he loved Tony Stark. Mm-hmm. He was Tony Stark. Like, oh my God, he's amazing. Like, looking back at it, especially the first 10 minutes of that movie, so dark. So dark. And like, most of it is about like Thor's whole angle is about his PTSD.
Right.
That guy is struggling. There's a part, and see if you remember, but I don't remember if it was Hulk or Rocket. I think it was Hulk. They go to New Asgard, and they mention Thanos. They're like, we think we know a way how to, whatever. Thor literally stops for like a minute and is like, don't say that name. Don't say his name. He looks so crushed. I can't believe this is the god, the Norse god of thunder. He is so broken, and it's like, whoa. This is so dark. Hawkeye basically just results to just mass murder. How I get by my time is just by
killing bad guys.
I'm just going to kill people. And he's not really punished for that necessarily. He kind of just gets away with it. And it's
that's true.
It's like, damn, that's really dark. Like, that's super, super, super dark. It went full leftovers for anybody that's seen that HBO show. Like, it is full leftovers of just like, we're not going to get you off the hook. Spoiler alert for leftovers, but same thing happens. Instead of half the population that goes into dust, 2% of the world disappears, and you never know where they go. You never know. That's not even a spoiler. That's the plot. That's the plot. That's in the first 5 minutes of the show. But there are characters that are coping in so many different ways. Like Nora in that show puts a bulletproof vest on and like has strangers from Craigslist like shoot her in the chest, just so she could like feel something. That's inexplicably dark. And Hawkeye is like at that level of dark. And
he lost his whole family.
He lost his entire family. I understand.
What is there to do? And
they put you through that, and I don't know if like I don't know how I don't know if they like made it a happily ever after necessarily. Like I don't really know. It was like I kind of feel like those characters will never be the same again. They'll never recover. Mm-mm. You know? So it was a very dark movie. The second time I was just like, I feel like I'm drowning. This is so dark. And any scene where like they have to get the Soul Stone is like Lars von Trier level dark. Whether if it's Gamora or if it's, spoiler alert, once again is a big one, Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson, Natalia, like it's like unbearably dark. So what did you think about it as you were watching it? Were you able to enjoy it?
I was really invested in it. Mm-hmm. There wasn't really a moment where I was thinking about anything else.
Did you go to the bathroom?
I did I think it was like the beginning of I think I would call it the third act.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you did.
I went at like right at a good spot where everyone kind of, they got hit and then they regrouped. And when they regrouped, I went to the bathroom.
That's right.
And there was just a lot. I feel like it went by really quickly. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of the scenes went by really quickly. That's why I kind of want to watch it again, just so that I can absorb all the things that I should pay attention to in that like final battle. Because also I feel like I might have missed things.
Like what?
Like certain like characters, like how their story wrapped up. Like, you know how they focus a little bit on Captain America and like his story wrapped up. And who else? Well, like Tony Stark and his family, right? But like what happens to like Black Panther and all those other characters that I don't really like? They were kind of in the background, but I want to see again like, oh, okay. Just so that I can have closure of what happened to them.
Right. So Black Panther's like back in Wakanda with his family.
Oh, right. Okay.
Peter Parker is back at school. But what's confusing is his best friend. Mm-hmm. That's not his best friend from his timeline.
It's not.
So this okay, just saying that out loud, like this kind of goes by.
No, but that guy was in the movie in the other Avengers.
Infinity War.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we don't know if he got blinked out of existence.
I think I read that he did because they were both back in high school.
Okay, so let's say he was. Okay, so that's the only way it could be the same childhood friend from his timeline. It's because they brought everybody back.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, this kind of goes by Rick and Morty rules. Our Rick and our Morty are the prime Rick and Morty since day one.
Right.
We'll call them Rick and Morty Prime. You know, and Gamora as we knew her is gone. She's dead.
Right.
But there's a new Gamora out there.
The same Gamora.
Not the same. It's not the same Gamora. This is a different timeline.
Right.
How can it not be? There was 2 nebulas at one point.
Okay.
There was 2 nebulas, and like the movie opposes itself when Hulk is like, no, you can't change your past. Whatever happened to you, like, happened. You can't go back and change the past. It doesn't change your future, is what he says. But they killed Thanos twice.
Right.
I don't understand how. Like, how does that make sense? So, also, once again, and I'm not trying to ruin the movie. This is just like, I guess we have to go back and watch it to figure it out, which is cool. But, like, when you snap your fingers using the stones, like, how does that even work? I think you have to, you said it at the theater, you make a wish.
It's like you wish it.
You make a wish. So Hulk is like, I wished really hard, but I couldn't bring Natalia back. It's like, you wished really hard? You couldn't do it? Why not?
Right.
I thought you wished it. You, of all people, should have been able to do it.
I mean, if it's possible to bring, like, half the population back.
You couldn't bring her back?
Right.
And Tony did it too, but couldn't bring her back because he snapped and got rid of Thanos and all his people. And so there's a scene with Hawkeye of like, well, and Scarlet Witch, is that her name? And was like, hopefully she understands that we won. And she's like, yeah, I think so. I think they both do, kind of saying like Vision. But what happened to that guy? So
he doesn't exist.
He died, right? So that's my point. Like he
died, but then, he died.
Yeah,
then it wouldn't be that he didn't exist. It's that he died.
But see, that's confusing. Like,
because he did exist.
This whole movie doesn't make sense. Like it really doesn't. And also like, but it kind of, I have to believe that it somehow must.
Right.
So the whole scene with Tilda Swinton, which was a delight to have her there. She's known as the Ancient One from Doctor Strange. She's like, you're going to fuck with my timeline if I give you this stone. And Hulk's like, no, but we're going to come back and give you these stones right when we got them at the same time. So it'll be like nothing happened to your timeline.
Okay.
So that's why Captain America goes back, but then gets old. Okay. So something tells me the only way that could be is like the original Avengers, those that didn't get snapped. There's 2 of them. So there's 2 Captain Americas. One that has to go back in time and has to do all that because he's the one, he didn't get snapped to begin with, and he's the one that is there to fight Thanos and all that. That's our Captain America Prime.
This is confusing.
But when he goes back in time, there has to be another Captain America there.
Oh.
There has to be.
Wait, when did he go back? To what year?
He goes back and puts the stones back. So he goes back to the Ancient One and gives her stone. Because Doctor Strange still has to exist.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange wasn't Doctor Strange
But he
yet.
never gets a stone in that timeline.
No, yes, because but that's the past, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like all this shit is like, it's just like,
this is confusing.
It doesn't make sense, and I want it to, and hopefully someone out there can send me the right video of like, yes, it does make sense, and here's how. But I can chalk it up to magic at the end of the day. In Harry Potter,
we'll just accept it.
If you follow Harry Potter very closely, it's like, wait a second, but if this wand does that, it's just like, it's all magic. Just stop. It's magic. And you just have to tell yourself that. So I'm okay with that. But if you just look at the emotional plot and take all the sci-fi, this is why time travel, you can't do it. But if you take that away, like The emotional plot was very satisfying. I'm glad that we're going to have a black Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that Robert Downey Jr. got his Hugh Jackman ending. And boy, is that a horrifying and very heroic but tragic ending for Iron Man.
Right.
It is brutal. You know, like Peter Parker telling him, like, we won, Mr. Stark. It's like, stop it. God damn it. Like, this is too much. This is just, it is an assault. Like, it is a relentless. As a guy who loves those types of dark movies, whether if it's like a Lars von Trier or something, I grew up with dark shit. I can take it. But holy fuck, man. Like, a lot of this, like, they beat you over the head with it. Like, thank God for Ant-Man. And thank God for, and I think that's why Ant-Man has such a promotion. Like, he got a promotion. He's like a main Avenger in this movie and was kind of in the background in the other movies. And I think that's why he's there for comic relief. I think that's why Thor was a struggling, obese alcoholic who still looked very handsome. He looked like Ryan Hurst from Sons of Anarchy. He still looked very handsome, though. And then I think that's why you have Hulk the way that he is because we need levity. And Rocket, like, there's a reason why, because everybody else is broken and sad and dark. And I'm happy Captain America got his ending as well. Like, that's very earned. Yeah, this was an amazing 11-year Odyssey adventure that they took, and it'll never be duplicated. So many people have tried to do this. There are no shortcuts.
Right.
It takes as long as it takes. If it takes you 12 hours to play this out, play it out. Like Harry Potter. Game of Thrones, which is tonight in 1 hour. We're going to see the Battle of Winterfell in an hour. You don't just start with that in season 1. You build up to that. It takes as long as it fucking takes. So I the long game has to be respected.
Mm-hmm.
And it was worth it for that. But let me know when you want to watch it again. I'm down. With Infinity War, I was like, I can't wait to see it again. This one, I'm like, fuck, man.
Like, you have to go back to the theater and see it again.
It hurts, but at least I know when to go to the bathroom now.
Well, also, I mean, you can go anytime. You've already seen it twice.
And once again, like, nitpicking. But I think it could have used an intermission.
I know.
Could have used an intermission. Some of us got to pee, man. And
I mean, everybody just walked out as soon as it ended.
I was thinking because, we went with our 4-year-old and
who knocked out, by the way.
She did pass out like an hour in, thank God. But and she woke up and she was like, "That movie was awesome." I'm like, "You didn't even see the awesome shit." I was just like, "Well, what happens when she needs to go to the bathroom?" I'm like, "I'm gonna have to go." So, but luckily she didn't have to.
Yeah.
That movie's so dark. Nebula is a very twisted, dark figure. She's very gothic and dark and just like really sad.
I didn't expect a lot of it to be based on her. A lot of the things that happen to be based on her.
In the comics, she has a big role.
Does she? Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe even bigger than the movie that we saw. But I thought I thought they did a lot of interesting things with her. And Karen Gillan, is that her name?
I don't know.
Fucking crushed it. Like, wow. So much hard work, like, in that makeup. And she's such a broken, tragic figure that's just like, there's no human left in her. But she uses whatever she has left to try to do the right thing. And she kills herself. Like, it's just so weird. It's such a...
Oh, yeah.
Like, I kind of wanted to tell Aiden, like, let me ruin this for you and tell you what happens because it's unbelievable. If I were to tell you that in the first 10 minutes, Thor cuts Thanos' head off, you're not going to fucking believe it. Title card 5 years later. What the fuck is happening? And I will also say that the marketing will be remembered forever for this movie. Mm-hmm. The marketing will be studied and researched, and people will love this movie forever. And the marketing was just so masterful. Like, they didn't give anything away.
No.
And that's how you do it.
I don't even think the actors read the script.
Well, obviously you have like Gwyneth Paltrow and like other key characters like Don Cheadle who are there when Robert Downey Jr. dies. They're there for that. They have to be anyways. Ooh, his character. Also, he's such a good actor. He's with the little girl who plays his daughter. And like, I believe that that's his kid. Like, their chemistry and how he talks to her and like lets her have time to say her lines and he reacts to her. is just so like he's such a good actor. Like I can't say it enough. Like he without him this isn't possible.
Right.
Truly.
And it started with him.
And in a weird way it ended with him, man. Holy shit, Tony Stark. Like, woo. Man, you saved the world so many times. Thanks. It was a good time. It was a good time at the movies. At the same time, I'm exhausted, man. Like, there was so much action and war and violence and darkness that went into that movie. Like, I am on empty going into Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm drained. I'm like, what else are you going to take away from me? Like, I got nothing.
We needed like a week to recover.
I needed a week, and instead, like, here we are, like, 48 hours later. I'm like, dude, I'm dead, though. A lot of people are going to have some great conversations when they go back to work. Oh, yeah. It was a great weekend for nerdom, for fandom. After Game of Thrones ends, like, I'm done.
You're done with TV?
I'm done investing in new franchises that are going to play out over 10 years. Like, no, I'm done. My cup is filled. I've seen the greatest things to come out of my generation. And I'm open to new experiences, but for the sake of making art, not for the sake of consumption. I'm an artist. Like, I have to have more output than input. Mm-hmm. And I'm all filled up to the gills on input. I'm filled up. You know, as far as cinematics inspiration, like, I'm filled up.
There's enough out there.
There's more than enough out there, and I'm full, man. Like, Avengers and all that, like, you know, everything that Marvel gave us, 22 movies or some crazy shit? Oh my gosh, that many? Fuck, man. I'm filled up. So thank you for everything. Like, you can't go into this movie and like be like, meh, 4 out of 10, like, it was all right. Like, you're an ungrateful cold little shit if you feel that way, but
I don't think anybody feels that way, honestly.
There probably is.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
I think people who feel that way probably didn't see it or haven't seen it yet and don't really, you know, because they don't really care to.
And they probably hate themselves. Game of Thrones as well. Like, we've invested a lot of time in it. I care about the work. I respect the work that went into it. Like, the tens of thousands of man hours that went into it. And I love how they're protecting the story elements from the public. They want us to be surprised. That's a joy. Like, thank you for caring about that. That's hard to pull off. But after that, like, I'm exhausted. I got nothing. You know? I'll watch the filmmakers of the people that I love, the Tarantinos and the Paul Thomas Andersons and the Chris Nolans and things like that. Like, I'll stick around for my boys. But I ain't investing in the next thing.
I don't know if there's anything to invest in.
There will be. There always will be. Lord of the Rings came and went. The Matrix came and went. Harry Potter came and went, and so on. Like, I am filled up. And there's some people that are like, John Wick 3. And it's like, that's cool. I'll chill out, though. Like, I'll watch it on fucking Blu-ray. It's good. I'll rent it. I'll Redbox it. It's good.
I need to see those.
Every other big franchise after that, I'll Redbox it. It deserves that. Yeah, so what else do you want to talk about? You get shy on the microphone, Claire.
I do.
You were getting so mad at me for last week. You didn't want to do a podcast, and then 2 days ago, you didn't want to do a podcast, even though I've been tired. It's hard to do this.
I've been tired.
Aiden put Fiona to sleep. She's in the other room right now. I'm surprised she's not waking up, ruining this. Aiden's in the other room, and it's so hard to pull this off. For whoever's watching this on YouTube right now, like, just know that this is so hard to pull off when you have 2 kids, 13 and soon to be 5. Like, very hard. So, you know, we're getting it in. I'm happy to get it in. I worked all day today, and
on a Sunday.
And you know, so here we are. What do you want to talk about?
Did we have anything new going on this week?
You know what we haven't talked about on the podcast? Because I think when we did our episode, it was like maybe January, December. I think it was. And we started a business.
Okay.
So we never talked about that. What's it called?
Indie Darlings.
It's called Indie Darlings, man. And I love it. So each of us got it tattooed on our bodies. We've had kids. We've moved out together. We've started a business together.
Yeah.
We've had matching tattoos.
Yeah.
Still not married, though.
Nope.
I wanted to get all the other stuff out of the way first. But I'm saving the best for last.
It'll be nice.
I'm saving the best for last. Let's just say you better go with me to that Pikachu premiere.
Oh my goodness.
Let's just say
I will go once because I know you're going to go 10 times.
No, it can't be that good, but I am going to watch that movie once. It can't be, nothing can be that good, but oof, it gives me the feels. That movie, Pokemon, the first movie came out 20 years ago and gave away Pokemon cards, and I still own those from 20 years ago.
Ew.
And this time when you go, they're giving away new ones, and it's like that.
Are they?
Yes, and that's cool. But going back to our business, so we started, it's basically a client service business in terms of we will make your podcast, take your photos, take your videos, distribute your micro content, do some social media for you. This isn't an advertisement for that because truthfully, I don't want to do advertisements. I don't even want to sell our services. You know, I did a gig with Robert Gardner. Shout out to him if he's listening right now. And I had people come up to me and be like, take my photos, take my videos, any advice, what can I do? And I was like, all you have to do is just be out there and show up and people come up to you. So that's how I want to, quote unquote, make money and sell this. Eventually, I want the business to be big enough where I can give it to Aiden and he can do whatever he wants with it and cool. So he doesn't have to have a boss when he grows up. And hopefully hopefully, you know, we bring in enough money where it's our full-time job. And that's cool. And it's slow and steady wins the race with this venture. I'm very big on move, go, just make a decision, get it up. Like I rush things, but we've been taking it very slow and chill. We got the LLC, we got the business bank account. Like we're taking it very slow. It's cool.
We got everything.
It's very cool to have done it the right way. We got the tattoos, man. Like that's when you know that you're in it. I haven't had a tattoo since 2013. So it's been a while. And you and me are 50-50 partners.
That's exciting.
Did you trust me?
I did. But I feel like you trust me more in that I'll get all these little things done.
Yeah. And I think you also know that, like, you know my weaknesses and you know that you could, you know, that's what a good partner is they, you know, you can delegate tasks to me and I can delegate tasks to you. And we're doing, I mean, that's what a business is, you know? So I'm happy to be a part of that. Along the way, you know, Claire's come such a far way. She's come so far and come a long way in terms of digital media and producing content. And I look forward to where you are in a year, but I want to be able to teach you everything that I know about filmmaking, about photography, about sound, about lights, about Final Cut Pro, and everything that I know, because I truly believe as long as it took me to learn it, I don't think it's going to take that long to teach it.
I mean, maybe not.
No, I don't think so. I mean, all I do today and all I always do is I just push the fucking button. I just try to get the moment. And then it's like, that's just the first half of the job. The second half is the editing and trying to make it look good. Like that's where the chemistry comes in. Is that's the part that takes days to do it right. But I think it's a teachable skill, man. Anybody can learn it. So together, you know, we'll get one client, we'll get 2 clients, we'll get 3, we'll get 4, and we'll be good. I'm managing 3 brands right now, and I haven't hit my maximum yet. But if you count Indie Darlings, it's 4 brands that I'm making content for, and it's a lot. Pretty soon, I won't be able to do. Pretty soon, I'll max out at maybe 5 or 6, and making hundreds of graphics and pieces of content a week. Like I will max out, and I'll need help. Mm-hmm. But until then, I'm like gonna keep putting weights and seeing how much I can carry by myself. So that's the goal. I wish I had more energy, man. Like
right now,
it's really hard.
Or in general,
in general, like I'm trying. Even though I ate a homemade burger,
it was too much
today. And I overdid it too. Double cheese, double meat, bacon. Like I overdid it. And it's Game of Thrones tonight, man. Don't judge me. But even though I say that, I am trying to like eat healthier and work out and all that, so I can have the energy. Because me and Beyonce have the same amount of hours in the day.
I mean, but you can't compare yourself to Beyonce.
True. But I'm not comparing myself to her. All I'm saying is like people like her inspire us that like you can do the impossible.
Mm-hmm. And with kids and being married.
So it can be done. I'm not a billionaire. I'm not a
and
billionaire.
right after you have babies.
I'm not a billionaire, but also her work ethic, I also don't have that. So that's why I can't compare myself to her. But at least like the work ethic element of business, you can control. You know, I may not be able to control my talent, the money that I make, the money that I have, but I can control. I'm going to wake up a little earlier and I'm going to go to sleep a little later to do something that I am passionate about. And I need the energy to do that. And I don't want to rely on energy drinks to do that.
You should try doing keto with me.
Oh, are you doing keto?
Not today.
Mrs. I just had a burger and I overdid it and I regret it. Not today. Well, that's not what keto
but I
is.
did it for like a good month and a half.
Yeah, how long ago was that?
It was a while back. Probably.
You should do keto with me, Claire.
Okay.
How about that? Oh my gosh.
But I did. So but I do cut back on my carbs. I've cut back, except this weekend because I made rice because I hadn't had it in a while. But other than that, I have cut back on my carbs, and I don't drink soda. I only drink water.
I don't drink soda either.
I don't drink energy drinks.
I drink energy drinks.
And this is probably the first weekend in like 3 months since I've had bread. And this past week I had pasta.
Yeah, and then, are you saying you have more energy?
No, I'm not saying that I have more energy, but like it took me a while to not eat those things, like to stop eating those things. Mm-hmm. And so when I ate, like this week I had pasta and then today I had bread, I don't feel as bad. I feel way fuller, which feels terrible. But like emotionally, I don't feel that bad. So like this week I can go without bread and like put this day behind me. But when I'm not eating bread or all those carbs, I do have a lot of energy. That first week I was doing keto.
Actually,
I could not sleep like for like several days in a row. I just kept waking
Clare.
up. Yes.
Keto Clare was a force to be reckoned with. People missed out on that. But yeah, bring back Keto Clare. Bring her back, because holy shit, she's hard to keep up with. But yeah, bring her back, and I'll try to do the same, because I also want to make a movie this year. I'm aiming for July to film it, maybe 5 or 6 shooting days.
A lot of stuff's happening this summer.
A lot of stuff is happening. It's going to kill us. But if we can get through this summer, we can get through anything.
I feel like we've had worse summers.
Yeah, that's true. Summer 2017 was pretty rough. I remember it.
Last year?
17.
No, where am I? 2019.
Is that your daughter?
Yeah.
All right. So this is the part where as adults, we got to wrap this fucker up. My daughter's probably had a bad dream. And also I'm screaming really, really loud. And Game of Thrones starts in 45 minutes. So is this convenient? Is this inconvenient? I mean, when you're a parent, it doesn't fucking matter. Claire, I love you.
I love you too.
And thanks for coming on. And we're going to do this again and again and again and again and again. And people are just going to have to learn to love it. Yeah, so expect more indie darlings, man. Follow it on YouTube. That's where this podcast is going to be. If you want to find it, forget Knives Monroe on YouTube. I'll post some stuff here and there on it, but I really want to grow this business that I don't have to be the face of. And that's what Indie Darlings is with me and Claire. It's going to be both of us. We'll still be the face of it, but I don't want to just be like, it's all about Knives Monroe, the Knives Monroe show. I ain't super comfortable with that, even though it works. It got me to the dance. But I want to, what can Indie Darlings do, right? So this podcast, you can find the YouTube video on Indie Darlings on YouTube. Check us out on Instagram. And yeah, do all that stuff. That'd be really cool, man. Also, tell me where you listen to this. Are you listening to this on iTunes? Are you listening to it on Spotify? Are you listening to it on SoundCloud? Let me know so I can share those links and create graphics for that and get more people to listen to it, more people to watch it. Maybe we'll get the audience on YouTube. I don't know, man. This is going to be a slow burn. Slow and steady wins the race. I believe in that, man. We're just getting started. I don't want to be one of those guys that's like, just wait. It's going to be cool. We have some cool things lined up. Like, no, I just want to do it every day. And you watch it and you're like, man, those guys are like, holy shit, wow, they don't stop. I just want that reputation. And in order to do that, you got to show up every day and get after it. So that's the goal, Claire. How about you close this thing out? Yeah, close it out.
No.
Claire's going to close it out.
No, I don't know how.
Claire's going to close it out.
I don't know how.
That was perfect. Love you, baby.
I love you too.